Hey guys, my name's Josiah, and today in this video I'm going to be teaching you guys what you need to know about jig fishing and shaky head fishing. So a jig is one of the oldest lures in bass fishing ever. It's super easy to tie. They've been around for, I don't know, 50, 60 years. I mean, they've been around a long time. They've been successful all those years, and there's a reason why they've been around so long. Just because they're so effective all year long. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter what day it is. Any day of the year you can throw a jig and catch fish and catch big fish. It doesn't matter what day it is, whether it's 20 degrees, 30 degrees, or 100 degrees outside with 50-degree water temperature or 40-degree water temperature or 80-degree. I mean, it doesn't matter at all. Every situation is just great for it. Same thing with a shaky head. A shaky head though it won't catch quite the size that a jig will catch, but it'll catch more typically. It just depends on what bait you have on the back of it, and today I'm going to explain all that to you, and it'll be super simple and you'll understand all of it by the end of this video. Jigs are also one of the most exciting baits to use. If you ever see a video of somebody just absolutely cranking a fish and just whacking them when they set the hook, it's usually a jig, or you can do that with a heavier shaky head as well. But jigs, they catch big fish. They're fun to use. I mean, they're just a great bait, one of my favorites for sure. So make sure you stick around. I got some good stuff for you today. All right guys, so the first jig I'm gonna be talking about today right here is a Chompers football jig. And guys, if you're in the Southwest Missouri area, make sure you head on over to Extreme Outdoors. They'll have these over there, and they'll get you a great price, and they got the best customer service out there. You'll feel super welcome when you walk in, and you feel like you made great purchases when you come back out. The reason I choose Chompers with this is because their prices are literally incredible. They're a local company out here around Table Rock Lake, and they make some great products at some great prices. So this color right here, it's got this yellow at the bottom. I like to use this in the summer a lot of the time. I've been able to catch a lot of fish on this in this color, but another color I'd recommend is just green pumpkin, or if you got some stained water or a ton of clouds, go with black and blue. It's gonna be the same with every single one of these jigs, same color selection. If you got stained water or you got a ton of cloud cover, go with the black and blue. And if in certain situations I'd go with this yellow. This is a little bit less common use by me, but in the summertime, I mean, this will crank fish like crazy. The weight I've got on this is a 1/2 ounce jig. This is when I'm real deep, when I'm 30 plus feet, I'm throwing this 1/2 ounce jig right here. Sometimes I'll throw it in about 25. It's just, it gets down there way quicker and it stays on the bottom. So with this type of jig, you just drag it. I mean, it's just gonna drag and it's gonna hit stuff. So with your rod, you'll pick it up. So say you have your bait cast in your hand right here. You're just gonna slowly drag, and you reel down to it and wait a few seconds, and you'll drag it again, reel down to it, boom, done. That's all you gotta know. If you feel a fish, doom, just whack him. Cause with this one, I'm gonna be throwing it on 20-pound line. I throw this on 20-pound Seaguar Red Label line. That's just, the fish don't care what, really, a line weight, I mean, fish don't see line too often. Line weight's more just for the action of the bait. But with this, I use 20. I've literally never broken off while using one of these. You almost never lose fish either, just because it's that single hook. So, also another color you can throw right here is this PB&J color, which is brown and purple, just like peanut butter and jelly. And this is the 1/4 ounce version. And yeah, this also works really well. It's just a lighter one, so a little shallower water. This is more what I'd throw most of the time, because most of the time you're running a jig 25, 20 foot, something like that. So this is what I'd use in those scenarios. Okay, so the next style of jig I'm gonna be talking about is a finesse jig. So when you look at finesse jig, you'll see on the front, there's gonna be these little like flares off the front of where the skirt just goes through. And that's just more the style of the jig. It just gives it a little bit different action. This right here is a 5/16 ounce. This is a Chompers Eraser Finesse jig. And you can also get these down at Extreme Outdoors. Might be my favorite jig on the market, besides the Jewel Pee Wee football jig, which is a smaller version of those football jigs, and that's great. I just caught fish on those a couple weeks back, and they're great. They work well. They get hung up a little bit, but just that's what it is, I guess. This will get you a ton of bites. This is also green pumpkin. Okay guys, so the next style of jig I'm gonna be showing you is a skipping jig. So a skipping jig is made for exactly what it sounds like. This head is real flat so that when you skip this bait, it'll just skip, it'll slide across the water way better. I use this when I'm around docks, like say I'm on a lake like Lake of the Ozarks or Grand Lake of the Cherokees, something like that. If you can flip this jig real well and you can skip it real well, you'll catch a ton of fish just because you can get to spots under the docks that other people cannot get to. This right here is a 3/16 ounce. That's what I like to skip most of the time. Sometimes I'll go a little lighter. Sometimes I'll go to the 1/8. The 1/8 will be easier to skip than this. As the lighter you go, the easier it is to skip. All right guys, so real quick, I'm just gonna explain trailers for you on a jig. So the trailers I like to run, like say I was running this football jig around, and this is the PB&J football jig right here. This is a 3/16 ounce. I like to use something like this right here. These are just some Rage Craws from Strike King, and these are a great trailer to use. I usually use, if this trailer is kind of shorter like on this football jig, so I'll use the smaller versions of the Rage Tails right here. But if you're using a bigger one, you can use these bigger Rage Tails right here, Rage Craws. So basically to put the trailer on, you're just gonna take the bait and you're just gonna keep your hook up like that. And then basically I point it up and then you're gonna put it flat, like the tail is gonna be in line with the bait right here. And you're just gonna put the tip of that right up through there, right in the middle. And you're gonna run it through there a good little bit here. All right, and then you're gonna take the hook out of the bait right about where it begins to curl around right there. Once it's made the 180, you put that back through, push that bait up on there, and boom, right there. You see how that trailer is just past the end of the skirt. That's what you want. And then on these, make sure in between the tails, they'll be connected when you get them. You gotta split them apart so that they come apart. I never use a jig without a trailer. I always use a trailer. All right guys, so now we're gonna get into the shaky head. So the shaky head I choose right here is the spot remover shaky head. So these ones, they have a flat head on there. As you can see right there, that head is completely flat. And that helps it stand up or hit off rocks better. Just gives it better action. A shaky head, a lot of the time, will have a screw lock on here. And I'll show you how you put one on here real quick. There's a 1/4 ounce head on here. And the bait for the summertime, what I like to use on here is a Magnum trick worm like this. And on the Ozark lakes a lot, we use this watermelon candy color. And that can catch a ton of fish. You see here. So basically you'll just take it and you'll grab your hook just like that. And you'll grab your worm with these things that have a screw lock on here. And you'll take it and you'll just screw it on there. So you're gonna put the head right up here and you're gonna screw it on. And sometimes it can be a little difficult, but you're just gonna screw it on there until it's all the way up. And then you'll put it back through the side of the worm. I'm not gonna go through the middle like what you do with like a thinner worm. I go through the outside right here and then put it back through the worm. So your finished product will look just like that, where it's just through the outside of the worm. Another bait I'll use, and I use this all the time, I use this way more than the other one, is these thinner ones. These are the Zoom Magnum Shaky Head worms. And I always get the Magnum ones because you can cut off, if you'll cut off right here at the collar on the worm, you'll get just the normal size of a normal finesse worm. So that's why I don't buy the smaller ones, because why would you buy the smaller ones if this one you can use for both purposes? So right here, I take it and you do the same exact thing. You'll just screw it on, do the same thing. But with this one, I put it through the middle of the worm when I put the hook back through it. I don't put it through the outside since it's such a thin worm, it doesn't really matter. You work a shaky head just like you do a jig. I'll usually use this on a spinning rod. I'll run a 7-foot medium action spinning rod. I mean, I catch so many fish on a shaky head, I can't even tell you. If it's tough out, throw a shaky head. Just, that's all you gotta know. If it is tough out and you can't catch fish, just go throw a shaky head, you'll catch something most of the time, unless it's an awful day. But besides that, you'll be able to pick up 1 or 2 doing that. So guys, the last thing I'm gonna be talking to you about today is this other head I use. This is a Jewel Pro Model shaky head. And as you can see right here, it doesn't have a screw lock. So a lot of people have gone to this, especially recently. If you talk to a lot of pros, they'll use a head like this without the screw lock, because with a screw lock head, your hook, when you have the bait on there, your bait is now, with the hook, is not above your line tie. So when you set the hook, you don't get as good of a hookup ratio as you will with this. With the only advantage really to the screw lock head is the bait will not come off. But with this, your bait can come off. What you do is you super glue, you put a tiny little dot of super glue right here at the front. Okay guys, so the way you're gonna rig this is, I'm gonna use this Zoom Magnum finesse worm. So you're gonna Texas rig it. So if you don't know how to do that, you're gonna take your bait and you're gonna stick it on the end of the hook just to where it starts to curl a little bit. So right there, it's just right on the edge. You're gonna put it back through the bait. So you're just gonna, that hook will now be back out. You're gonna push the bait up and then spin it back to where the bait will try to come like over the top. So if your bait's hanging down, just pull it like where it's over the top and then push it up onto the head all the way. So now you're gonna have all the rest of this worm hanging off here. What you're gonna do with it is you're gonna look at your hook right here and you're gonna put it back through it just like we did earlier. Right back up through there. And then boom, you're done. And you see how that sticks up from the head. It's up. So when a fish bites it, it'll push that off and then it'll hook it right here. So it's a little bit better of a hookup ratio. All right guys, if you learned something from this video, make sure to comment down below. Tell me what you learned. Thank you guys for watching this video today. Make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe. It really helped me out. Make sure you guys check out Extreme Outdoors. Make sure you head over there for some of your baits. And all right, thank you guys for watching. See you later.